Lads, lads, lads. Lads, welcome to a brand new Ingood Nick video. Today we are joined by Kev Gage, ex-Sheffield United fullback. What an absolute legend. Great to have you on, Kev. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you for the invite, Nick. Looking forward to having a bit of chat.
Like I just said to you off camera, it's probably going to be maybe a slightly negative one. It's probably going to be more negative from my point of view because I've been accused on the channel for being quite negative in the past. So we will see. We will see.
Given our last couple of 3 years, what on earth have you had to be negative about? It's been sheer joy.
It's more recently, to be honest. And as a YouTuber, you've got to kind of unearth as much as you possibly can. And obviously, likes and clicks and dislikes and stuff all go towards interaction.
You're just being controversial for the sake of it, really.
Sometimes I might be a bit Piers Morgan, but yeah, you don't get anywhere by being nice and sitting on the fence all the time. So anyway, yeah, so we're going to be talking about the transfer window today. And first of all, I want to point you in the direction of last transfer window to kind of see if we've done better or worse. I know it was completely different because we were brand new to the Premier League. We've had a little bit more time to bed in this time, maybe. We've not gone as over the top as we did. So last season we brought in Ollie McBurney, Lys Mousset, Dean Henderson on loan again. I know he's possibly not a brand new signing. Callum Robinson, Luke Freeman, Ben Osborne, Phil Jagielka. I'll stop there because they're the ones that played more games than kind of the others because I don't really want to be talking about kind of Ravel Morrison and those types of players. So what do you think to last season's kind of transfer window deals?
Well, just running through the names there. I mean, there hasn't been... They're not a massive success, all of those, are they? Now, we can make the point that Mousset did very, very well for a very short space of time. And he was basically... We were hoping he would push on and kick on with us and not be just the impact sub that he was at Bournemouth. And although he had a few runs in the team, niggly injuries, and he never really settled down. And McBurney, although he's got 6 goals, 6 goals for a centre forward is not a brilliant return, is it? And the jury's still out on McBurney. A lot of people, me included, I do appreciate he does put himself about a bit. Not that he's a traditional up and atom centre forward, but he does get flick-ons and he's always there or thereabouts, and he holds the ball up okay. So just to kind of answer your question, I don't think we had a superb window this time last season. I think we did what we had to do, but I will just qualify that by saying I was pleased that we didn't go out and spend money like Fulham did 3 years ago, or Aston Villa did, and just about scraped up, courtesy of the ridiculous ghost goal. So they got away with it. Fulham didn't get away with it. Aston Villa did get away with it. And I was happy with the kind of level that our spending was at. I didn't want us to break the bank.
No, you're absolutely right. I think if we'd have kind of ripped up Chris Wilder's way of playing football and integrated lots and lots and lots of different footballs, because we didn't really do that, did we? We knew we needed to strengthen up top. We knew we needed to bring in a goalkeeper. Obviously, we didn't really know if Dean Henderson was going to be coming back. Not till the last minute, really. So we knew that we needed to strengthen certain areas, but we certainly kept the same back five. Fleck, Norwood. It was great to see. But I want to talk about now players that we have let go. We'll talk about Callum Robinson when we bring up the Ollie Burke kind of situation, because just to see kind of who got the better deal. But we let go Leon Clark and Kieran Freeman. First of all, they were never going to make any sort of appearances this season. Leon Clark struggled last season, and obviously we've brought in Rhian Brewster since. Luke Freeman, we'll talk about now. Luke Freeman, for me, is just what we need, that kind of Mark Duffy role player. Maybe not to start the game, but certainly to bring on, to kind of get into those pockets of space in the middle. What do you think about Luke Freeman? Should we have let him go to Forest?
I'll be brutally honest. I was not his biggest fan in the world. I appreciate exactly what you're saying about Duffy, the Duffy role, let's call it, the number 10 role, because I do think we do miss that at the moment, certainly. But we'll go on to that bit later because McGoldrick seems to fit into that role. But I don't think Luke Freeman would have been the answer this season. I don't think he is a kind of Duffy type, because Duffy got hold of the ball, kept the ball, and didn't run about too much, if you know what I mean. He was more jinking and things like this. Whereas I think Luke Freeman is more of a runner, and he doesn't dictate the play. He just kind of gets on the end of things and makes runs through. I think we need a more person like McGoldrick or like a Duffy who gets hold of the ball, and then we can build off that. So I wasn't too. Listen, I've got nothing against Freeman. He did okay for us, but it wasn't a case for me of I'm sorry to see him go. I think good Championship is probably about his level from what I've seen of him at the moment.
I don't think for me he was given enough chance to prove himself, and I think the games that he did play, and he played very well. Obviously, lots of them games were against lesser teams, if you like, because he played a lot of cup games and stuff like that. But I think for me, Luke Freeman's probably, along with Callum Robinson's, the only ones that were really let go that possibly could get into the team. So first of all, we're going to start with the first couple of signings that we brought in. Randomly, both goalkeepers. First of all, Wes Foderingham came in. We're all a little bit confused about this one, seeing as though we've got two goalkeepers already. One that we've brought in and gone through legal issues with Michael Verrips. Simon Moore, I think, had two of his two quite poor games last season against Man United, but we'll not blame him too much. And then we brought in Wes Foderingham, which is a bit of a random one. What did you think of Wes Foderingham before?
I lost track of how many keepers we had at one stage. I mean, is Simon Moore, is he still at the club? I'm assuming he is. I don't know. Yeah. And Verrips, again, I can't remember ever seeing him pull on his first team shirt. Has he had a game? I'm not even sure. So we've got four senior, let's call them squad goalkeepers. I mean, I don't know how many you need in a club, to be honest. I'd imagine 3 is the normal amount, so we're a bit heavy there. Foderingham, I don't think I've ever seen him play, to be honest. I know absolutely nothing about him. I Googled him and found it on Wikipedia who he played for, but he's going to be the sub goalkeeper. We'll just say at this stage, I think Ramsdale will turn out to be a fantastic signing for Sheffield United. And he's made some superb saves already. He's had to, hasn't he, the way we've started, to be fair. But I do think he was an exceptionally good purchase, especially for the money, because that seems to be the going rate. You know, your starting price for a half-decent keeper is 15, 20 million. And I do actually think, given his age, and especially his Sheffield United connection, I think that was a brilliant, brilliant signing for us. And we'll pay dividends in the future because he's only going to get better as well.
Exactly. He's so far away from his peak as well, isn't he? So
yeah,
as long as he can kind of not fall into that kind of gap where he has a few bad games, he gets dropped, somebody else comes in. I don't rate Foderingham. I watched him pre-season and I thought he was really poor. He made an odd save or two that was all right, but again, he's a goalkeeper. Like, he should be making them saves anyway. Yeah, let's hope that Ramsdale doesn't fall into that, getting dropped and then someone else coming in doing a bit better, losing a load of confidence. Like, Joe Hart was one of the brightest English goalkeepers, and then look what's happened to him. So fingers crossed.
From what I gather with Ramsdale, I'm very close to quite a few AFC Wimbledon fans, of course, given my career and history, and they had him down there for 6 months, back end of the season before last, when they had their so-called great escape. They were bottom of the league in that, and they managed to stave off relegation the last game of the season. And he won Player of the Year. He'd only been there 4 months. He won Player of the Year, and they absolutely loved him. And apparently, from what I gather, he's a real character behind the scenes. He's goalkeepers are mad and all that rubbish you get sometimes, and he's one of them. He's a good lad behind the scenes, and that is all part of the ethos that Chris Wilder likes, obviously. So you mentioned about, if he does make a mistake, you hope he doesn't lose confidence. I don't think that's a problem with Ramsdale. I think he's a confident lad. He's got confidence in his ability, and I think he'll be absolutely fine.
Excellent. Well, that's all we hope from him, really. I did say this before about, I feel like Dean Henderson's had quite a few seasons of kind of 30 games, 40 games for teams. Whereas Ramsdale, until last season for Bournemouth, he'd had kind of like 10s, 15s, stuff like that. So we need to get a full season out of him, get him kind of bedded into the squad, and hopefully let's stay up this season. So next up, Ollie Burke and Callum Robinson switch. Now, I know that Ollie Burke has gone for quite a lot of money in his career to a few different teams. Callum Robinson cost us 7 or 8 million, something. I can't remember exactly how much it was. Who do you think got the best deal out of it? Obviously, we've seen little bits of Callum Robinson. We didn't see a lot from him last season, especially not in a Sheffield United shirt. We've not seen a great deal of Ollie Burke. I know it's hard to kind of say who's better and who's not, but what do you think of him up to now?
I like Robinson. I thought he was a decent player, and I thought he was only going to get better. I saw a few of his goals when he played for Preston when he first signed, and he was scoring all sorts of goals, running at players and getting the tap-ins that strikers score. He was striking from the edge of the box. I was really excited by his signing, and he hit the ground running, didn't he? And he did very, very well in the first part of the season, and then just kind of drifted away a bit. I was a bit disappointed for him to make his move to West Brom. It obviously suited the player, and perhaps he wanted to go. He wanted a new challenge, or didn't feel quite right at Sheffield United. But the swap with Burke, I'm to be convinced about Burke. I didn't know a lot about him. I was fortunate to go to the Emirates and watched him play a half-decent game at the Emirates. The first half, he was running into the channels, and he was making some intelligent runs and getting hold of the ball. And he looked a bit of a danger, but then Chris brought him off early into the second half, which was weird, because I just thought the more the game went on, he would have been more effective. Now, you'll come on to Brewster in a minute, but I'll preempt it a bit, because they look to be very similar players. They're very similar stature. I'm talking about Brewster and Burke here. Very similar stature, similar size. They're both reasonably quick, both got a goal in them. They're definitely not a partnership, I wouldn't have thought. So it's either one or the other. And assuming, we've paid 20-odd million for Brewster, you would expect he's going to get the nod over Burke. So maybe Burke's going to be, one of the so-called impact subs that we mentioned already. But then you've got Moussa hopefully coming back. And of the two players, I'd much rather have Moussa coming off the bench after 60 minutes than Burke, from what I've seen at the moment. But he's got pedigree. He's still young, 23, is he, Burke? Something like that.
Yeah, he's crazy young. Yeah. Yeah,
he scored many goals, obviously, in his career for a few years ago, and lost his way a bit. So perhaps Chris sees some kind of spark there, and he sees something in him, and he's useful to have around. Players like that. He hasn't cost us an absolute fortune, obviously. So we haven't broke the bank to get him. So give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think me and my co-host Hal, we talk about him quite a bit as kind of like an away from home sort of striker, where you can play him up front and get him to stretch the defence. And obviously you saw with David Luiz when he had to pull him back to actually stop him from rounding Leno, that he is very dangerous. He is very dangerous. A lot of centre-backs aren't quick, and he has got pace to burn. And in my opinion, I think that's probably what Chris has brought him in for. It's a bit of a weird one, because I thought, looking at his career, he's played as a winger, he's played as a right wing back for, I think it was Alaves in Spain, but he's not.
I didn't know he was a wing back. That's interesting. Yeah,
I don't think he ever has been, but I think they used him as a wing back for But I wouldn't like to see him at wing back for us, to be honest.
If you can play right wing and you've got a half decent football brain, you can play wing back. It's a very similar position, so it doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
To be honest, I thought that until I saw Marvin Johnson a couple of years ago. Jeez, that guy could not defend to save his life. So I think we've probably got the better end of the deal, if I'm honest. I was never a massive Robinson fan. I just felt like he was good at everything, but he wasn't great at anything, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
And I think in our kind of, in the role that we wanted to play him as an out-and-out striker, I don't think there's anywhere else that we can play him. I just don't think he was strong enough or quick enough.
Yeah, I would agree with that to an extent, because he did kind of float around the edges of stuff, didn't he? He wasn't an out-and-out striker. You're 100% right, and he certainly wasn't a number 10. In the traditional sense of the word. He wasn't a Duffy, or he wasn't a McGoldrick who links plays. He was just kind of flitting about here, there, and everywhere. Not to say, that's not okay in the right team, but I don't really think it suited our system last season.
No, definitely not. Talking about right wing backs, we go on to talking about two kind of a left wing back and a right wing back from Derby. I always call them the Derby lads, even though they're very much Sheffield United players now. Obviously, Omar. I keep wanting to call him Omar Bogle. That's not the right player. Jayden Bogle was brought in as kind of like the marquee signing. It seemed like, because he was great at Derby, had a really good season the season before last, and they're all tipping him to be the next big thing. And then I think he had a bit of a poor season last season, but still got quite a few assists. But Max Lowe's the one that went under the radar. What do we make of him? I've not seen a lot of either of them, to be honest. I feel like Jayden Bogle should really be on the bench to be brought on as kind of a bit of a difference to Baldock. I know we've not seen much of him, but what are your thoughts on him?
I agree. I thought he would be at least on the bench. I haven't seen a lot of him play. Like you, I haven't seen a lot of him play. Lowe, from what I've seen of Lowe in the Sheffield United shirt, he looks very tidy and very accomplished. But Ender Stevens is a difficult player to dislodge, and you can't. There's no way I'd play Lowe over Ender Stevens just at the moment. So it's up to Lowe to kind of bide his time and force his way in the side. Now Bogle, interestingly, I remember seeing when we signed him, did a bit of research on him, and apparently Frank Lampard, when he went to Derby, he thought he was fantastic. He thought, wow, what a player we've got here. Mm-hmm. And Frank Lampard must know his stuff. He's been around a few good quality technical players in his time. Yeah. So that's praise indeed. So I don't know what happened last season. Perhaps, Lampard going or something may have affected him a bit or whatever. Young players do have iffy seasons occasionally, or parts of seasons where they don't do too well, and then they come again. So I'd be very interested to see if he can firstly break into the side, and then to see how well he does. Because, he does seem to have all the attributes to be a really, really good player. And I actually think as much as Baldock's done really well at times last season, I do think we missed something on that right-hand side with some real quality deliveries and real quality play on that right-hand side. And Baldock links great usually, but it's always, for me, I find myself, getting so frustrated because his final ball is not quite good enough at times and he picks the wrong option. And I just think Bogle getting forward, hopefully we're able to get forward if we're playing okay, not have to do too much defending. I think he may, just be the difference in being a bit more threat and more assists, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why I brought the fact up that he should be on the bench, and I'm not sure why he's not on the bench, because that would offer us something completely different. But then we've got, on the same day, we brought in Ethan Ampadu, which was a really, really random one. I was really excited, but a little bit confused why we brought him in, because I'm thinking, we've got such a great defence. But then I was talking to one of my mates who's a Chelsea fan and said, he can play in so many different positions. However, we've not seen that at all. He's played in one position, central defence. And he may have played on the left-hand side against Villa. I can't remember if he played centre or left. But do you see him filling in at defensive midfield at all this season? Because Chris seems to like to play players in their preferred position.
Well, I don't know where his preferred position is. You're right when you say he can play everywhere. I don't know. If he's going to play a central defensive midfielder, then obviously you're talking Ollie Norwood position, or even Burge can play that position, can't he? And I'm told by reliable sources that Burge's his best position is central defensive midfield. Although for me, he does a great job when he surges forward on the right there. So whether he's adapted his game, I don't know. Ampadu is a great player to have around the squad. Obviously, hasn't cost us a transfer fee. He won't be on a lot of wages. It's all basically experience for him. So it's an easy signing for Sheffield United. It's a no risk signing. If Egan broke his leg tomorrow or whatever, I would have no worries at all about Ampadu going in there in the sweeper role. None whatsoever. Because I do actually think he would bring the ball out far better than John Egan. And John Egan's okay at it, but he doesn't do it enough. I think he's a centre-half by trade, isn't he? He's not a ball-playing sweeper, like in the traditional sense of the word, or a ball-playing centre-half. He'll be happy. He's happy just passing it 10 yards to Norwood or just 10 yards to O'Connell. He's not going to, suddenly burst through the middle and join in the midfield play, whereas maybe Ampadu would have that in his bag. So yeah, it's an easy signing for Sheffield United, and I'm sure he will prove his worth as the season goes, just slotting in here, there, and everywhere.
He's not had too much luck really, because he's only really gone on loan to us and RB Leipzig, and they were so good last season that he couldn't get in. So this season, with us not playing too well, I would have liked to have seen him play that left-hand side role. I know he's not left-footed, but he can use his left foot. Yeah. I think he's an excellent player, and I think he's too good to be on the bench for us.
I think you're dead right what you say. I'm positive he could play that left-hand side centre-half role easy. He wouldn't be anywhere as good as O'Connell doing it, because O'Connell's an exceptional player and we've missed him big style. But yes, he could easily fill that role, easily, I'm sure.
Yeah. To be honest, I think Jack Robinson's done okay, and I think he is. Someone put it on Twitter earlier, asked what everybody thought of Jack Robinson. I think he's a solid backup. I'm just not sure he's good enough to be playing that role week in, week out. And if he's not going to be doing the Jack O'Connell flying forward, he needs to be better defensively, because obviously he handballed it to give away the penalty. He lost Bamford for Leeds to score the winner. He needs to get better defensively if he's going to be playing that role and sitting back more than getting forward.
Yeah.
Next up, Rhian Brewster. Now, are we putting too much on Rhian Brewster's young shoulders? He's 20 years of age, and we're expecting him to just come in and just score hat-tricks every week. And I think we saw from him coming on for the last kind of 25 minutes that he's possibly not going to be that player that is going to hit the ground running and just score loads of goals, look great every week. I think he looked okay at times, but I don't think we really saw too much from him in his first 25 minutes. But like I say, it was only 25 minutes. He's got the whole of his Sheffield United career ahead of him, and I'm thinking he's going to be a very, very good striker. But what are you thinking about him this season, Kev?
Yeah, so, similar to what you said, I'm not expecting absolute miracles. As good a player as he obviously is and has been, and his track record with the England youth side suggests that he's a top quality centre forward. But yeah, he's coming into a team at the bottom of the Premiership. Let's make no odds about it. Who are not playing anywhere near as well as they can yet. So it's going to be difficult circumstances for any player to come in and play well in this side, let alone someone with this big fee on his shoulders and weight of expectation. So yeah, but we need him. We need someone. We need him to hit the ground running and to make an impact, because that's why he's been bought. And I'm not a fan of the current McBurney-McGoldrick combination up front, because as McGoldrick drops deeper and deeper with every season, it's leaving McBurney up top on his own, and we do need someone up there with him. Otherwise, there's no point in winning a few flick-ons and holding the ball up and laying it off, etc., because there's no one up there with him. So much as we may not, it may not be very fair to have such high expectations of Brewster. I think we are hanging our hat on him a bit this season, certainly for the next 6 weeks or so, because I don't think there's anybody else we can realistically play. You could make a case for playing Billy Sharp for a while, or even Burke for a while, but we paid 20 million quid for him. He's going to have to play at some stage and do well and stay in the team and score some goals.
Well, we're really lacking in pace, aren't we? We've always been lacking in pace. I think obviously Ollie Burke's been brought in. Bruce has got a bit of pace about. I don't think he's lightning quick. I don't think he's Lys Mousset quick, but I do think he is quick enough to kind of get away from defenders and stuff and put the ball at the back of the net. So that's everyone. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think we did?
Well, all things considered, I'm not just Ramsdale was a good signing, so that puts the rating up. I like the two Derby lads, so I'm going to give that a big, thumbs up there. Brewster, I mean, who knows? We haven't seen enough of him to comment, But
it's very early, isn't it? It's very early.
Yeah, if he's so good, if he's scoring 10 goals for England under 17s in the World Youth Cup, he's obviously a top quality player or whatever. He's won the Golden Ball. Clearly, he's a good player, so that has to be a big tick. And Padu, yeah, another big tick. Good quality player. That's the thing, isn't it? We're not just getting players for the sake of it, just because they happen to be around and we need a place filling in the squad. We seem to have bought players who can actually hopefully make a difference when they actually play. They're not just fillers, are they? The goalkeeper situation needed to be addressed. So I think that's a bit different. You do actually just need bodies. And just going on to the goalkeeper, and what I was going to say earlier is we could never have replaced Dean Henderson because he's just that good. Future England keeper. He's, as you rightly say, he's played 200 games and he's only 22, is he? Something like that. I mean, he's absolute top quality. But we've gone as near as we probably can to getting another good young keeper. So to answer your question, out of 10, was it the mark?
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Yeah. Sorry to pressure
I'm going to go high because I've been really quite pleased with everybody we've signed. So I'm going to go something like 8.5.
Wow.
I think we've had a good window. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think our start is because the start we've made. I don't think it's because we didn't have a good transfer window or we didn't buy enough, quality players or whatever. Yeah. I think we have done that.
I think you're possibly right. I think we've been unlucky with certain situations, conceding 2 daft goals, but against Wolves. But Jack O'Connell was injured, and you could probably say both of them he could have done better with. We had Egan sent off after 15 minutes. That obviously diminishes the confidence massively. And then obviously the injuries. We've had Jack O'Connell, Fleck, Mousset. We've had a very unlucky start, but the problem is you've got to pick yourself up now. We've got to start picking up some points. We've got 3 horrendous games coming up, but then hopefully once we've got those out of the way, I'd be over the moon with 1 point from those 3 games.
Yeah,
got 3 free hits. Let's see if we can pick up some points after.
And just going on from that, the free hits is a good phrase actually. So maybe it would be time to give Bogle a run out. What have we got to lose? Going away to one of these big 3, a little bit of pace on the wing, something like that, it just might shake it up. You don't know what Chris is thinking. He may be thinking of trying a bit of a new formation. But I've been speaking to a few of my football mates and people like that. And the solid bank of 3 in the midfield worked great last season, and we all knew what it was about. If it's not particularly working, or we haven't got Fleck, and Norwood's not really at it this season in that central midfield role, maybe just go with the two kind of more holding players, and then play that specific number 10, whether that's McGoldrick or somebody else. We don't know. It may completely change this season.
Well, that's what we did. Ever since Chris Wilder come in, didn't we? It was only last season that we changed it to the kind of 1 defensive midfielder and 2 in front. So maybe that's possibly what Wilder's going to go for. So we're going to have to wait and see. It's obviously still exciting times. We've brought in some great young talent. We're still in the Premier League, even though some fans on Twitter and Facebook and stuff are saying that we're already relegated and all that. So I don't want to be brought into that. But I think it's been a good window. I'd probably maybe go for kind of a 7. But I'm loving your optimism. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. We're gonna have
Hopefully
to see.
It's not completely misplaced.
So thank you very much, Kev, for joining us today. I've really enjoyed us chat about the transfer window. Hopefully some of these players, we can see more of them. Obviously, it's been quite difficult to talk about some of them when they haven't played too many games. But yeah, let's see around the kind of January end of the season time and see how they've come to fruition and see if we can actually stay in the Premier League, shall we?
Of course we can.
Yeah, that's. I love it. We need to get you on more often, mate. So much positivity. Anyway, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you for joining us today, Kev.
No worries. Thank you very much for inviting me.
No worries, and stay good, Nick, guys.
Look at that ping from Norwood. Makes other teams look no good. Yeah. We've got a team full of leaders. Alan Hill, Chris Wilder taught us. Right. Yeah, there was us on the tour bus. Yeah. Look how many goals Billy scored us. It's beautiful downtown Bromley Lane. We are the boys from Shore.